Hi, ZL3XDJ Brian with just a wee little update really. Spring and summer has managed to get here eventually, and things are sprouting very nicely. What I've been doing recently is the 2-element vertical. I'll just turn this round and let you see. So we've got a parasitic 2-element vertical elevated. So this is the driven element, which is tuned to where are we? It's tuned to 14100. Somewhere I do a lot of CW, so it's somewhere roughly where it needs to be. Can't just quite see from here, but I've got there's 2 radials on here. 2 radials are tuned, matched. I think the SWR is about 1.2 to 1. It's very, very low. Later on, it's been in place for some time. I put a reflector behind it. I wanted to try a reflector. Same thing. Now that one's tuned to the bottom of the band, 1400 dead, and it's got like the other ones. They've all got these. Got two tuned radials which just get tied off at the end down at the fence there. It's not, it's not that critical. So the driven elements, 14.1. Reflector is 14 dead. And what I did is I sort of tuned a little bit more, tuned the reflector with an RF meter just out here in this. Look at it, you've got an empty paddock. I just put a stick with the RF meter on, did a bit of a test, and just sort of refined the tuning on that to give me the lowest reading of RF behind the antenna, which hopefully means that it's performing with the most gain forward that I can achieve. 2 trees tied to, they're about 4.1 meters apart. I know, a lot of people say it's got to be a quarter wave, it's got to be this percentage and that percentage. But what I actually found, I had 2 trees there, so I put the verticals on the trees, and then I say with the RF meter behind, I actually tuned the 2 antennas, so they were delivering as much RF forward by looking at the meter behind and see it drop down as I altered things a little bit slightly. That worked fine, no problems whatsoever. And of course, the ultimate gain would be, as I've done, I've very, very quickly added another element. These are just 7-meter poles I get from DX Commander. Work great for 20 meters. Thanks, Cal. So I put another one in the front, and at the same distance apart from the other ones, I found in the past that even if they don't work out exactly the width you want them, keep them all the same. And then what I did then is I put the RF meter again out in the paddock and tuned the director for the least amount of RF off the back. As I tuned it, I could see the meter going down, which hopefully meant there's more RF going out the front. So just to recap, the driven element 14.1, that's on. Can't remember the exact length, but it's on the frequency I wanted to. Reflector 14 dead. The director 14.2. The difference in height is roughly about 80 to 100 centimeters. Is that right? Yep. 10 centimeters. 100 mil. So there's about 4 or 5 inches difference in height between them all. 4.1 meters difference in between, and they're just tuned to give the most RF forward. Right, that's clear as mud there. Anyway, basically what I found is initially using the reverse beacon network, other stations I talked to, using SDR stations around the world. What I did is, I don't know if you can see it, just behind me somewhere here, just over my head, you can see there's another pole. What I did, that's actually a 30-meter vertical, but what I did for a day, I just knocked it down to a 20-meter vertical, and then I did some basic comparisons between the 3-element elevated parasitic vertical against the single vertical on 20 meters. The single vertical has got about, I think, 40 or 50 radials on it. Obviously the elevated antennas in front of me here, they've only got 2 radials tuned on each leg. Just bits of wire taped to the tree, taped to the pole, and we did some basic quick comparisons. And I've got a few audio segments of when I did that, so I'll show you that shortly. I'll just go and dig them out and play them for you. And you can see when I switch between the single vertical and the 3-element vertical, which is firing long path, by the way. I only work long path in the evening. That's the best time for me to utilize the radio. Now we're getting what people call a front to back situation going on. Although I haven't actually measured that, I'm not interested. The only reason I know there's maybe a front to back ratio thing going on is the noise level has dropped considerably on the 3-element compared to the single element. And on transmit, I couldn't test with everybody on transmit, but roughly getting about 1 to 2 S points gain, but definitely the noise level has dropped down, which makes it far easier to listen to weaker stations. I worked the station the other day. He was 2 and 9 on CW, but I could still hear him. Couldn't hear him on the vertical. There was just too much noise. That's basically what I've been up to. Again, there's just look around. I keep saying this, but it's to be noted, I think, really, that I haven't got any big towers. Yes, I could put a big tower up. I could get a big beam on 20 meters. I could get a big amplifier. I could spend a lot of money, but for 3 poles of column, few bits of wire, we've gained 2 S points. Noise level's gone down, and the stations I'm working are just seem to be just absolutely thumping through. Yes, if I had a big beam and and a big amplifier, maybe I get another 2 S points. Maybe I get 5.9 plus instead of 5.9. But it doesn't override the fact that the amount of cost and time and effort to put all these things up seems a bit pointless when myself and anybody else, I'm not just saying I've done this myself. There's other people done similar things, bits of wire, bits of pole, and they've got great success. And even a few people have said, we've just worked somebody else in New Zealand running a lot of power and running a tower and a beam and that. And to be honest, they were only an S point or so stronger than you. So if you're getting 5.1, 5.2, 5 anything, to go to all that trouble to put I could put a big 4 square up. I could put a 20 meter, anything. Get a big, like I say, a big amplifier and do all these things. It's a lot of money, but this has been such an enjoyment doing something that costs very little, easy to do, nice to be outside doing a wee experiment. To be honest, I don't think I'd like to be climbing up towers and concrete in the ground and all these type of things. Probably too old for that. But to achieve a situation where I can go on to 20 and I can get round to Europe every day without any problem, an average signal is between 5 and 5, 5 and 9, with a few bits of wire. I think trying not to be cheeky here, but I think you must be quite bored and have a lot of money if you don't give this a go before you spend thousands on a tower and an amp. But everybody's different. You have a go, do what makes you happy. But I'm just trying to show, not just new beginners to the hobby, but anybody, that these 3 poles, I've just fastened them to trees because that's just what was handy for me, But equally the same, if you've got a fence in the garden, you can just fasten them to a fence, down the fence, and actually put the radials on top of the fence, or just run along it. They don't have to encroach in the garden or anything at all. You can actually fit these in quite easily. There's a guy down in Chile who's got a really good YouTube channel. He's done a lot of this in his local park and got fantastic results. It's really, it's something I don't really understand in depth, how parasitics work, but they do work. They do work, that's the thing. We'll go back, stop listening to me going on, and dig out a couple of bits of audio, and you can see just what I'm hearing. I'm on the bands every day, 60, 30 and 20. And also 20 metres sideband end of the day when the grey line's here. So look out for me, give me a call. It'd be great to hear you call in and see what you're up to. Okay, let's go in the house. Time for a coffee and dig out a few bits of audio which I've got somewhere. Won't be professional, but you might get an idea of what's going on. Thanks for listening so far. Hope you haven't fell asleep, by the way. Cheers for now.
Roger, Brian. Thank you for 5 and 7. You're about the same with the QSP. About the same report there. 5 and 5, 5 and 7 with QSP, Brian. I wonder if you are beaming over North Pole or if you are beaming a long path, as I do. Sometimes short path is better towards New